Welcome, everybody. This is R. Payne here. You're on the swivel at the sports bar. Hey, listen, this is my disclaimer page because I'm going to be using some videos from other content creators, and it's all fair use under the disclaimer. So I have this in the front of my presentation and in the back. So when I use these other videos, I'll give them credit for it. But so all I can say is welcome. Welcome aboard. So you're on the swivel with me today. So we got a lot of stuff to cover. And, I'm going to take my time. Some guys usually come up. Sometimes they don't, but that's okay because I'm just running anyway. So, well, let's get started. Okay, so what do we have here? And listen, you know what? I feel like I'm unique, right? Because nobody covered the UFL like I did, right? So we noticed this was their inaugural season, and actually they didn't do too bad. They had their ratings were up 43%. It was a smart move when they merged the XFL and the USFL. I didn't watch a lot of that football at all. I watched a lot of the highlights from this year, but they're coming back in the same format next year, 10 games. They're going to split the divisions up, XFL against USFL, just like they did this time. The formula kind of worked. I seen some games, some highlights. There were fans in the seats. They actually had fans in the seats. Unfortunately for them, the championship game was a wash. It was 25-0. So it wasn't really that exciting. But, the season was didn't turn out that bad. So we could see that there's going to be another year. All right. Wait, Ramsey, can you hear me? What's going on, Ramsey? Can you hear me? You're on mute, so you got on mute. There you go.
I can hear you. How you doing?
How you doing, man? How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
All right, man.
I apologize for jumping in late.
No, man, that's all right, man. Listen, man. I'm a rock and roll, man. I'm glad you just came up, man. You ain't late. You're right on time.
All right, sounds good.
So I was just going over the UFL, to wrap up. This was their inaugural season. And actually, I think there's a little bit different light on this league than the past leagues. I think they had fans in the seats. I think their viewing public was up. Some of the game highlights looked pretty good. 10 games probably was the right amount of games to play. And splitting the divisions up, XFL against USFL. So they're coming back next year. They're going to do the same thing.
But
I didn't hear anything about the draft and when they're going to draft and things of that nature. Go ahead. What you going to say?
I was just going to say, it just seems like these leagues are inevitable to fail. I can remember way back the WFL, World Football League, like in the early 70s or whatever it was, and lasting a few years and failing. And it just seems like they're all inevitably going to fail. Just seems that way.
No, you're right. But I just think there's a little different. I'm not so sure the NFL is not subsidizing them somehow. To tell you the truth, because there was a lot of names I think that crossed over, and I think the NFL wouldn't mind having like a junior league to pick from.
Yeah,
especially. So I'm not so sure that there's no connection in the back room. I'm not. But
it could be. I mean, because it'd be nothing for the NFL to shoot each one of the teams, a couple $1 million, right? It's just to keep them
or something like that. I mean, as long as they have a viable league, and I could use that as my. Especially, here's another thing. Especially since there's no training camp anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, right? You got a pool of players who are playing close to your training camp, so they're not coming in off of a off season of doing whatever they do, right? And you only have a small window to get them ready for the league. And I think if you have some guys who are kind of primed, I'm just thinking outside of the box a little bit because they just got off, So anyway, so of course, and all of those guys are hoping to break into the NFL, right?
It'd be interesting to know the percentage of guys that go from these.
Well, if you look at some of the games, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just the percentage of guys that do leap from, the spring league, XFL or whatever it is to the NFL in the fall. I'm guessing it's 10%, maybe. I don't know. Could be wrong. That might have a few training camp. Yeah.
But if you look at their league, you'll recognize some players that were in the NFL that couldn't make it past a year or two.
Yeah, that's true. True.
So it's a cross mix. Anyway, so let's go to the NFL, right? So off-season talk. Hey, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to this so we can look at what they. What am I doing here? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that link so we can see what the power rankings are. I'll get kind of curious. I'm gonna have to stop sharing for a second. All right. Let me go ahead and do this because I think let me see. All right. Share that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, power rankings here. We could talk about these power rankings, whether you agree or not. I mean, there's something to look at. All right. So let me go. All right. So the Chiefs, I don't think we have any discussion. They're number one, coming in number one. As long as they got the man, they're going to be number one, right? The 49ers, the Lions, the Ravens, the Eagles. Any questions so far?
Yeah, the Lions, they certainly had a good season last year. I don't know if they're number 3, but
You don't think they can repeat?
Yeah, they probably could repeat. But would I take the Eagles over the Lions in the NFC? Probably. If I had to bet, I would take the Eagles to bounce back. Yeah.
All right. So the Packers, my man Jordan Love, man, he acquitted himself real well. They got the Bills, Bengals, Buccaneers, Texans. Texans played pretty well last year. I don't know. You know, they're going to challenge. They're going to challenge to get into the lower, into the single digits. I think the Dolphins, I believe, took a step back. The Browns, the Rams. I'd be surprised if the Steelers don't play better than people think they are. I think they solved their quarterback problem.
Well, they may have a double problem now with Wilson and
no, not really, man. Not really. You know, I know a lot. The only problem they have is maybe money issues because they're going to have to decide whether they're going to pay either one of them or both of them.
Yeah.
Right. And Russell Wilson's at the end of his career, man. He's more closer to the end of his career. Do you give away a guy as what's Justin Fields? He'll be a 4th-year guy?
Yeah, 4th year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
so, he's probably 25 years old, and he's got a good 8, 9, 10 years left.
He had a good season last year.
Yeah, he did.
You know, if it wasn't Caleb, I'm not sold on Caleb, but that's the only reason when I got rid of him, man, because they had this, whoever the GM of Chicago says, you know what, if I overstep somebody everybody's talking about, I might as well just write my own firing ticket, especially if it turns out to be great.
Plus, the number 1 pick just fell in their lap, basically, because they had with Carolina's pick. So Caleb just kind of fell to them. They had to take him, basically.
They had to take him, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have to, but they had to. But everybody acts like Justin Fields is a bust, man. But he's not. He had a pretty damn good year last year. Yeah, I tell you, the Steelers. I think that
no line.
That's number
one. Yeah.
Right. That's right. Now they gave Caleb some weapons, but I think I would give. What I would do if I was a Steelers, I'd give Russell Wilson like maybe 2 or 3 years and say, listen, man, you're not going to get no long-term contract out of us. I'll pay you some money, but this guy's going to be your successor.
Yeah.
I'll just come out and say, this is the plan.
Yeah, but I couldn't see Fields sitting for more than 1 year. Yeah, give Russell the job this year, but then it's Fields' job after that. But at that point, he's in his 5th year, 6th year, they got to pay him at that point. And they would not have necessarily seen what he can do in a Steeler uniform.
Yeah, but, he'll get a chance. Let me tell you, he'll get a chance to play, man. I'm just saying that I think if you're getting paid those millions of dollars, you could just shut up and sit down and enjoy the money for a few years, man. A lot of great players have done that.
Yeah, they have. They have.
Yeah, so I don't know, man, but it's not me, man. Egos are big things. Cowboys 16.
Yeah.
Okay. So they said that means they're taking a step back.
Yeah, that's a little bit hard to believe because what they've been, 12 and 5 the last 3 years in a row, I think.
Right.
Just can't get over that hump that can get past that first round for the most part.
Just like the Ravens. I mean, nobody cares what you do in the regular seasons. We want you to do something in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So okay, Seahawks at 21, Geno Smith. It's a good thing, man. He's going to end his career on a much better note than he started it with. So that's cool.
Definitely.
So the rest of it, they got the Jets 25th. Is Rodgers going to play or not?
I think the Jets are just overrated. You know, as soon as they signed Rodgers a year ago or traded for him, everyone thought that was their ticket to the Super Bowl. But when you think about it, he was with Green Bay for how many years? 15 years. Went to the
Yeah,
Super
100
Bowl
years, man.
once. So
Just
it
once.
doesn't mean that it's going to be automatic. You know. So,
Well, let me ask anybody else on this thing you want to talk about? I was going to switch back.
well, I think 9 was the Buccaneers. I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't understand that one though.
You think that's too high?
I think that's too high for them.
Okay.
You know, Baker
So who would you?
is Baker Mayfield's quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Buccaneers.
You know, we can't say he hasn't played well.
He's all right. He's slightly above average. You
But
know,
was he a number one, first round, number one pick? No.
no, he should not have been.
No. No, absolutely not. Shoot.
It should have been
It
Josh
should have
Allen.
been
It should have been Josh
who you
Allen.
said? Who? Josh Allen?
It should have been him that year.
Man, let me tell you, man. Here's what I forgot who the running back was that year. But if I was the Browns, because they had the first and third pick,
Uh-huh.
I would have.
Saquon. Was it Saquon?
Yeah, I would. That's it. I think it was. I would have got. You know what? I would have drafted. What's the dude? What the guy? Jackson. I would have got Jackson and Saquon.
Jackson. Yeah.
And Saquon.
Yeah.
That's what I would have picked. I said, man, pick Jackson and Saquon, man. Just do it.
So you would
it's a fait accompli. So what?
You'd rather at this point, you'd rather have Jackson than Allen, just out of that draft. If you're speaking just that draft, because it was Sam Darnold was in that draft.
Yes. Okay. I would have picked Jackson over Josh Allen, even though he's a bad boy, man. But but either combination, if I had the choice, I would have got Saquon and Josh.
Yeah,
that could have worked too. You know what I'm saying? Man, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that would have been a nice team. A nice team.
Yeah, so I'm not against Josh. I would have just picked Jackson because they would have been. You would have two running. Oh shit, man! Josh Allen runs. He's a heavy runner. He doesn't get enough credit for it. And he got his arm is crazy though.
Yeah, no question. And he talks smack too, and he's durable. I mean, knock on wood, the dude hasn't in the last 4 or 5 years. I don't think he's missed a game. So
yeah, he is durable. So you can't claim, man. So it's one of those kind of things, But they picked who they picked, and that's it.
And
all right. So what we get? So what?
Try to clean it all up by signing with Deshaun Watson, right?
Oh, I missed that. Say that again.
They tried to clean it all up, the faux pas with Baker Mayfield by signing Deshaun Watson, a couple years ago. So, the Browns.
He's due for a good year. If the Browns have the Browns, get the right people, he's due for a good year. All right. So NBA, man, tonight's the draft.
That's right.
So we'll probably be out of it by the time the draft. Okay. So this is a question I don't have on there. How many brothers are we going to see with the white girls on their arms, man? Over under half, but you're over under half. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
That's a good question, man.
I'd have to go with the over. I'll have to go with the over.
Because that's all they're going to be talking about, man. All the young dapper dudes getting ready to be millionaires with the white girls on their arms, man. That's going to be all over the internet, man.
Right.
All over social media.
And then you fast forward 2 years from now. How many?
Hey, man, let me tell you, if I was a better man. Go ahead. I said if I was running a betting thing, that would be one of my over and under, one of my what you call those bets.
Yeah, no question about it. I would have to say over 50%. Yeah, but then you ask the question. You fast forward 2 years from tonight. How many of those girls will still be with those guys?
Well, that's true. But the visual is the thing everybody's going to be looking at.
Yes.
That's the visual everybody's got, especially the sisters, man. They're going to be all steaming and shit and hot. You know, I said, you had your shot. You didn't want to build with the guy. You would have got the finish line.
Yeah.
You know, so that's funny. So anyway, man, so LeBron and Paul George, two of the biggest names that are in their last year. Now they just hired JJ Redick, and I have some more about what happened with him later on. But I think LeBron is staying because the Lakers are going to be the only team that will put his son probably on the end of the bench.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what? And the thing is kind of disingenuous. You know why? Because Milwaukee did that with two of Giannis's brothers.
They did. And I think one of them's still there, right? Or was this
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like he's breaking some kind of ground that hasn't been broken before.
Yeah.
You know,
but
he's
breaking ground in the sense that it's father's son.
It's his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the guy at the end of the bench, nobody gives a shit about.
Right.
You know, shoot, Brian Scalabrine used to get standing ovations to get on the game.
With the Celtics, yeah.
Yeah.
he was like the unofficial mascot at the time.
That's right, man. Yeah, I don't think he liked that much, man. Yeah,
no, I wouldn't.
He didn't like that shit at all.
Because at one point, Scalabrine was, he was a pretty good player with. I think he was with the Nets. He was a pretty good player.
I think it was the Nets or the Knicks, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. He was, not a bad player. I mean, scoring the teams 13, 14 points. He gets to Boston, yeah. They're like screaming for him to get off the bench. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what can what else can you say?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just hold on for a second. Let me just see something here for a minute. All right, sorry. Anyway, I'm back. I think I'm back. All right. So listen, what else I have on this list? Klay Thompson, he might be going, man. This might be we might not see him in he got paid $45 million last year. So he's gonna have to take a pay cut down to 20 to 30.
Yeah.
And 30 is probably gonna be stretching it. Now, if I was him, I'd take the deal. Whatever it is.
You would take what Golden State's offering. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would take the deal. I mean, because he's like, I don't want to call him damaged goods, but he's closer to the end of his career, and his knee injury, his leg injury was really debilitating because you can see he lost a step or two already. We know that.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes I'm not saying enough money is enough money, but it's not like he's broke. I don't think he's married or anything either.
No, I think he is a single guy, and you figure he's won what 4 championships. 3 or 4, right?
Right.
You made a lot of money. Why not just finish your career with Golden State, keep your chin up, and don't worry about the money at this point. Why?
That's what I'm saying. He ain't got no woman spending it, and I don't understand. I don't know if he has I don't think he's a baby mama kind of dude.
No.
I don't know how many kids he has, but I haven't heard any scandals that he's like populating the earth.
Right.
Because that'll break you.
Yeah, that will. That will.
So hey, anyway, so good for him, man. So I hope he stays. Okay, so the Knicks, they want to sign OG, but they think they're gonna go all out to keep him. But they might have to lose the center because they're not gonna he's gonna want to probably have more money than they're willing to give him. Even though he's good, I think they're gonna have to go ahead into the salary cap and keep these guys. They want to bring back that team. And so the big thing is that they have a big trade with I think they did it before the draft with the Nets. So they're going to get Mikal Bridges. I didn't think he was that good. They're giving up 5 first-round draft choices.
That just seems too excessive. So that means that if you're giving up 5 or 6 draft picks, then you're going to sign Bridges. Presumably, you're going to sign him to a long-term contract.
Well, yeah. There's
you
no doubt about
be paying for somebody who's not on your team 2 years from now, right?
He's got to get whatever. If he's eligible for whatever years he's been in, that's what they're going to have to sign him for.
Yeah, that's a give up. You start giving up first-round draft picks. You're mortgaging your future for.
Yes, we're back to the same old Knicks, man.
Yeah.
Did you know about? Is he that good?
No, I don't think so. But
They're trying
he's he's never made an All-Star team, right?
Well, they're trying to call him like a poor man's what's my boy's name from the Celtics, the dark skinned brother, man.
Oh, Brown.
No, the defensive player.
Oh, yeah. The one that you said needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I don't care if I'm drawing a blank, man. Shit.
Drew
Him. Drew Holiday. They said he's like Drew Holiday. Well, that's the first time I ever heard that.
Well, and that's
all. Drew Holiday has 2 rings now. I don't care what nobody say. That brother's got to go to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's consistently better than average. I mean, and it's not like the Robert Ory thing. I can hit one shot, big shot Bob.
Right.
7 rings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Lakers and all that. So seven rings. He got 7 rings. And the truth of the matter is, almost in every one of those series, he hit a crucial shot at one point.
He did.
He did. You can't take that. You can't take it away. He hit
spot,
some
right time.
Especially at one when the Lakers are getting ready to look. They threw that ball out to the corner, man, on the offensive rebound. Bang! That's man. He just, I forgot who they played. Heartbroken. Yeah. It might have been Sacramento. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back.
But anyway, so
Chris Webber's team. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, Chris. He's a decent player.
Yeah, he was.
Toronto Raptors have to sign. They signed their guy to a max deal. Man, $270 million, man.
It's crazy.
So after the tax man and all the crazy people take their chunk, man, you still walking away with 50.
It's unreal the amount of money these guys are making, man. And they
unbelievable. And
the
ratings are down.
They scoff at 45 because they want 55. They want
and the ratings are down. So I mean, what's next? Okay, so listen, now the news of the day, right? JJ Redick, right? So JJ, he gets the job, and everybody's like, going crazy. But I was gonna just get a little snippet of what he had to say, but I'm gonna just jump to the thing. So he was at the press conference. He said his little piece. But we gotta really go ahead to Stephen A, who pulls the race card. Kind of, right? I never seen a black guy do this and da. So I'm gonna just go ahead and hit Stephen A. Just bear with me. I'm gonna try to get to the come on, let's play. No, don't be fooling around. All right. I don't know. Sometime.
JJ Redick will be introduced as the new head coach.
There you go. Let me do. All right, let's start from here.
Everybody involved. Nobody at this network that I know of is rooting against JJ Redick. Nobody is bringing up race and all of this other stuff. Does Sam Cassell deserve an opportunity? Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he had to get the Los Angeles Lakers job. We're not holding JJ Redick accountable for that. JJ Redick and his team was approached by Maverick Carter, and Maverick Carter convinced LeBron James to do all of this. Nobody's throwing any shade on JJ Redick for that. I'm not even throwing shade on LeBron doing it. If you remember correctly, Shay, I was like, yo, we were celebrating the fact that this podcast started. It's when we saw the actual content they had engaged in, knowing Darvin Ham was on a hot seat, that questions propped up. Wait a minute, is this an ideal situation for LeBron James to be in, or to allow yourself to be in, knowing that Darvin Ham is in that situation, then he loses the job, and the guy you're doing the podcast with ends up becoming the leading candidate for the job. I mean, damn, that didn't look good. So I'll fix everything, Stephen A. I'll fix everything. And by the way, let me say this for the platform of First Take, even though I said it on the Stephen A. Smith Show, let me repeat it again to let everybody know I didn't stutter, okay? Black coaches called a black commentator to complain about a black superstar doing a podcast while his black head coach was on the hot seat before he ultimately lost the damn job. What does that have to do with white folks? Some things are none of your damn business.
Okay, I have to stop it there, right? What do you think about that last statement?
What he's talking about the white folks?
Yeah, well, you said, that they don't have no business in that conversation. Does that make any sense to you?
No, it
You know
doesn't.
what I'm saying? I mean, think about that. I mean, if that was true, what am I doing here? If that was true, then for most of when a black guy can never cover hockey,
Right.
right?
Correct.
I
I
mean,
mean, that's an interesting analogy, a parallel. Yeah. Yeah. That's
yeah.
true.
What are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
So that's what I can. Stephen A. Man, a black guy talking to a black guy. Just say it was a little shady. Race had nothing to do with it. There's
Yeah.
the shady part of it. Just because a black guy talked to you and about a black guy, telling everybody who's white they can't speak on the issue. That shit is so. I hate when he does that because it's disingenuous. Because we like to talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna get to another thing. The next thing we're gonna get to with JJ Redick, and that's another thing. So he got $8 million a year. But Stephen A. Smith is so disingenuous with that, and he needs to stop that. I just think he does it all the time. Well, black head coach this, black coach. But you know what? The players never complain about who the coaches are. Like all the black players in the NBA never come up and say, "Hey man, you guys got to start hiring more black dudes." I don't never hear them say that.
No, I don't either. But kind of related to all of this, I guess Hurley was the first choice, right, from Connecticut.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true.
And he turned it down, and I'm surprised it even got out that they make the offer, and he turns it down. You would think that they would know that Hurley's going to take the job before it's even really announced that he's turned it down.
I don't know if that's true. Why would that
But I
be
mean,
true?
you go agent to agent. Hey, is Hurley interested in this job? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, presumably he's going to take it.
But he was interested enough to get the interview and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hear you. Okay, here we go. Another thing. Chick comes out, says JJ Redick called me the N-word 20 years ago on college campus. On a college campus. Right? And so I'm sitting down here saying, first of all, as much it's what cognitive dissonance is.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, does the black community just suffer from that in droves? We call each other the N-word at a drop of the hat. And so we're going to get mad that a white man used the word 20 years ago, allegedly. Right. So here's what Cruz Broussard, he's my, I like him as a announcer. And this is going to be a couple of minutes here on this one, just from the beginning. And he,
well, this is interesting.
Because I have a question after he keeps going.
And we're going to take some time with it.
We're only going to do 2 minutes or so.
Some of you may not,
2.5.
but a woman named Halima Nash claims that when she was once on the campus of Duke University, that JJ Redick called her the N-word. Here's what she tweeted this morning. I've only been called the N-word to my face by a white man once in my life, and it was on the campus of Duke University while I was doing work with the basketball team. And today, he was named the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. What a word. She obviously is talking about JJ Redick. And JJ Redick's camp, Martin, just within the last hour, told TMZ.com that there is no truth to her story. The headline reads, JJ Redick denies calling woman N-word. Now, TMZ reached out to JJ's camp, and here's what they were told. It's a direct quote in the story. It reads, no, it never happened. That's it. It was short and sweet. The way TMZ described it, they said, we reached out to Redick's camp for a response to the claim, and they completely shut it down. Now, I did a little digging. I did not talk to this woman. But I did do some digging. I was, as Rob G knows, I was trying to get her on the show because I do want to kind of, this is obviously a huge claim, and want to get her on the show to talk about it, verify if it's true, and her account wasn't hacked and things like that. From what I understand, she does not want to do any media. We'll see if she keeps that going. But and what I understand, Martin, she was surprised at how this thing kind of snowballed. The reason we didn't even leave the show with it was because we just wanted to kind of make sure this thing, that was really accurate before we dealt with it. But now JJ Redick's camp answers it, and they deny it. And here's what I'll say to that, Martin. And I don't know if Halima Nash will come out and speak to it. But what I will say is that JJ Redick better not be lying, or whoever spoke for him better not be lying.
Yeah.
Because it'd be bad enough if you did it. But you can, it was, if it had happened, I will say that because he's denied it. It would have been 20 years ago, something like that. You could, you could, maybe survive that.
I think there's a path to reconciliation.
Right.
All right, let me stop it right there. Okay, so let me ask you a question. If let's just say he did say it, how big of a deal is it?
Yeah, 20 years ago. I mean, yeah, it's probably, I don't know. It could very well be. I mean, because it's a big deal from the standpoint, if he did say it, it's a big deal from the standpoint, okay, then now you're walking into, the locker room tomorrow to meet all of your players. And you're going to have to answer to that. One of the players, one of the leaders may ask the question, what's up
Did
with
you say it?
Right. Yeah. So
how did you prove he said
that makes it a big deal in that you're going to have to answer to it tomorrow when you meet.
Oh, he already answered to it. He denied it.
Yeah.
So how is she going to prove he called her the N-word? Listen, it's not like JJ Redick wasn't around for the last 20 years. He's been in the public eye for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden she sat around and said, you know what? Does she just remembered he called her the N-word?
Right.
Come on. This is just bullshit, man. Men got to stop paying for it. Even if he said it, there's no room for a person's growth in 20 years. I mean, what white man hasn't called a black person an N-word? Because we can't say there's any black person who haven't used it. And not always as a term of endearment either. And so, I mean, this is bull crap, man. We got to move past this. We ain't talking about SA. We ain't talking about assault. We ain't talking about, child stuff. We ain't talking about, no, we're talking about a word that he may have used on. Listen, JJ Redick has been around black people forever playing basketball.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be a baller without being around black people in America.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he has license to say the N-word, but I mean, come on. So he just walked up to her one day and said, "Hey, you black N-word." What? Come on.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And I think it's just bullcrap. Even if she's telling the truth, why now? And then the disingenuous part, Ramsey, and I'm going to shut up on this one to move on, is when she said, I didn't think it would make such a big deal. What rock is she living on?
Yeah, this type of stuff is always a big deal.
It's bigger, it's more of a big deal than it should be. And I'm sitting down here saying that makes her claim less credible to me.
Yeah.
Like she's some kind of innocent person, man. You listen, it's just no. So I mean, well, whatever. He's gonna have to deal with it one way or the other. Josh Giddey, he gets traded to the Bulls. Now, this guy, he got into some trouble back and forth, whether he's guilty, this and that, with some girls and stuff like that. The perils of being a single man with some money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So OKC is getting rid of him because he's actually a playmaker, a ball handler, and they got Gilchrist Alexander. So they kind of don't mesh, right? So they get Alex Caruso, who's again kind of like a Drew Holiday kind of player who could score pretty good, right? He's a good defender.
Yeah.
So, but I think the Bulls are getting the better out of this deal. This dude's younger than Caruso.
Oh yeah.
Much younger.
His upside, we know what Caruso is because he was with the Lakers for
That's
a
right.
couple of
We
years.
know exactly what you're going to get with Caruso.
Exactly. But Giddey still has a couple of years of growth, So yeah, without a doubt, Chicago is getting the better of this one.
There's no doubt about it. So they wanted to get rid of a clash, a headache, give him a fresh start somewhere else. But I don't know, Chicago. If you have trouble with keeping your Johnson in the past, and Chicago is kind of different than OKC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and this honey's all over the place.
But it's unlikely that Giddey would make that same mistake twice. I mean,
oh man, yes, man.
So much focus on
you
it.
think so?
Yeah, there was so much focus on it that yeah. I would think, I would hope that he wouldn't make that same mistake twice.
I hope not.
Yeah.
All right, Bronny James, man. So now his life is front and center. What do you think about what kind of pressure LeBron put on him?
It's a heck of a lot. And Bronny even said it himself that, the same old thing of, I'm trying to make a name for myself, blah, blah, blah. All the right things to say, but that's the crown you have to wear for having a dad that's a billionaire and one of the best players in the league. I mean, Bronny could have certainly chosen another path to go down, sports management, anything.
Join one of his businesses, run one of his businesses or something.
Yeah. So he chose this path himself, and that's the price you pay.
I think he's getting it, but you know what? On the flip side, let me just say this. Okay, we're actually comparing him to one of the best players who ever played the game.
Yeah.
Right. So they say he doesn't really measure up, but how are they really measuring him? Because when I see him play, everybody keeps forgetting he came off a heart attack.
Yeah.
And now he might, but the guy's pretty athletic for his size. He's not really that tall, maybe 6'2" max. Right. So, but he's pretty athletic. And I think his younger brother is better. And his younger brother probably won't have, I know he's not going to have the pressure like he does. And he'll probably end up being a better player too.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, like we talked about before, I don't see any harm with putting him on the end of the bench.
Yeah,
just to keep your superstar happy. And, if you're in a blowout game, you put him on the floor.
But I don't know if Bronny really wants to certainly
play with him.
Yeah, LeBron certainly wants that to happen, whereby he can say he played with his son for a year, first time that's ever happened in any sport. But does Bronny really want to do that? I think he would sit the bench on some other team, be at the end of the bench on some other team, and not have to be on the same team with his dad.
In a shadow. So he's in a catch-22.
Yeah.
He's in a catch-22 then, right? Because the Lakers might be the only team that's going to draft him.
Yeah. But, I was thinking, I may have mentioned this before in one of the previous calls that, I think Cleveland would take him in the second round, right? That would be a good story. Cleveland, the Cavaliers would probably take him.
That's not a bad thought. It's not a bad thought. So anyway, let me ask you a question about LeBron while I have you here. And it wasn't on my thing, so this is off kilter. Do you think LeBron still being in the league is hindering the advancement of the whole league because he's still in the way of the other guys flourishing and blooming, if for nothing else, media-wise?
No, I don't think so. I think people still pay to see LeBron. I would still pay to see him.
Okay.
So I don't think he's hindering the other guys. Are you talking about guys that are on his team or just other guys in the league kind of taking the
mantle? Yeah, the baton.
Yeah.
So he's definitely hindering the baton being passed.
Yeah.
I mean, not on purpose, but I'm just saying the legacy, the legend, right?
Right.
How could a Shea Gilchrist? Okay, even a Luca, these guys that we're talking about now, are they? Well, I don't know. Maybe it might not apply to the European players. Anyhow, so I'm just
Yeah,
thinking,
I think
but I might be wrong. I'm just thinking that way. Of course, he's still putting butts in the seat no matter where he goes,
and he's still performing, right?
and he's
He's
still
still
performing.
one of the top dozen players in the league, 10 players in the league, probably,
Okay,
right?
all right.
So
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely the top 15,
yeah, so
and probably the most top 10. But let's say 15 since he's a little
yeah,
older. Can't do what he used to.
yeah, and his numbers his last couple of years have been the same as what they were 5 years ago. So
Absolutely.
I don't know what his magic is, but
They
you know,
try to float that he was on some stuff.
yeah,
They're trying to float that. But I mean, listen, let me tell you, if a guy pays over $1 million just in staying healthy a
Yep.
year, who knows what kind of miracle shit he's on. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure his doctors and everybody, because they probably do random PED tests
oh yeah,
and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And that's number one. Number two is I'm sure he has the kind of people who would do a thorough analysis of the stuff he does use.
Right. When you can spend $1 million on your body, you've got your dietitians, your doctors, your strength coaches, the newest technology with everything. So yeah, I can see why he's flourishing, at the age of almost 40 or 40 years old.
Yeah, I think
Man. He can play another couple of years probably at this level.
I know he can. I know he can. So that's one thing. Let me ask you another thing, and we'll move off of the NBA about the All-Star game. What do you think about fixing the All-Star game by just getting the international players against the American players?
I like that idea. I would tune in from start to finish. I would tune in,
and it would be a good game, right? One guy keeps talking about he thinks just paying money. The money is not going to entice these guys to do shit.
No.
Not for a game, extra 50,000, 100,000. No,
right.
Make it about pride. You got to make it about pride.
I think one of the things is if the international players defeat the quote unquote American players, that could be a little bit of an issue for the NBA, in that now the international players can tout that they're better quality players than the homegrown USA players. But another incentive for that game would be similar to what I think Major League Baseball does. So for their All-Star game, the American League wins or the National League wins, whoever wins, they have the advantage in the World Series, the home field advantage. So it's not based on the one loss. So that's more incentive for the All-Star game players to give 100%. So if you had the East versus the West in the NBA, and
that wouldn't work in the NBA.
East prevailed, even if the West team at the end of the year had the better record, the East is going to have
I don't
four
think that's
games
going
over
to be
3.
I don't think that. I mean, that's an idea, but I don't think that's that much of an incentive. I thought they took that away from baseball, by the way.
They may have, but I remember that was the case several years ago.
A lot of people started saying no way, but because let me also tell you, Ramsey, like this, half the people on that team wouldn't give a crap. They weren't going to go to the World Series. Most of the guys are like, on a team that's 10-500. They ain't going.
That's true. That's a valid point, because you figure the All-Star game is, over. It's like 2/3 of the way through the season, and most teams are already out of it at that point. So,
yeah, man. So but it's still something better than what they're doing now.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, you can't have a game where you're scoring 200 points. You just can't.
No, that was crazy. All right. So Fever in the Sky, they played each other. We don't have to show the repeats. So you know what? We actually do have a real rivalry for Rookie of the Year between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. They are active, so that's actively starting, and they play each other because they're in the same division, I believe. So that the Fever's up 2-1, but the last game they played was actually pretty good. They lost The Fever lost a 15-point lead with like 6 minutes to go, and Angel Reese scored 25 points and had like 15, 16 rebounds.
Yes,
She's a walking double-double.
I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so she's playing well. The girl needs to go strengthen her legs though, because she can't jump at all. She's just tall. She don't got no she don't got no you know. So, but here's my thing. But isn't this the plan? You got the Messiah and the white girl, and you got the fashionista saying, yeah, we ain't all lesbians.
Right.
Right. And so to me, man, they could just blow this up. And actually, there's more excitement about the WNBA than it ever has been before. Then I know. I mean, I've been covering it, and I don't watch a lot of the games, but I stopped to watch a couple in some parts of them. And I think the whole league is getting energized. And they just got to stop the black girl magic shit, man. You know what I'm saying? They just got to go ahead and say, this girl, these girls, the rookie class this year was a special rookie class. Not just with Caitlin. She just headlines it. But you know, if you want to make money and you want to keep those chartered planes, you better not hurt the goose that laid the golden egg.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
You know, but she's not a shoo-in for Rookie of the Year, man. It's a real rivalry.
And that's a good
She should have been.
You know, the rivalry.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, you know, the rivalry continues from college, LSU and Iowa, and now into the WNBA, just like it did with Magic and
Bird and Magic.
Yeah,
yeah. So I think it's a good thing, and they should pour into that stuff.
Yeah,
you know, and you know, there's a lot of media people on the outside keeping, you know, one side or the other, and this and that, racial this, racial that. But just pour into it and just play ball. Here's the time when the world should just shut up and dribble. Just shut up and dribble, man.
That's what they told LeBron a few years ago, right?
Just you know, just shut up and dribble.
Right.
You know, and but I think it's kind of getting to the new equilibrium. They should have put her on the daggone Olympic team. But it's still not a closed door because a couple of those girls are hurt already.
Yeah,
and they, you know, she's on a. You guys see what happens.
Yeah, sure.
And this is the standing.
Hey man, I'm gonna run because I got to order some food. I'm actually in Buffalo right now.
Oh man, okay.
I'm gonna I got to order some food and.
Yeah, all right, man. So that's cool, man. I'll finish this. So let me say, listen, man, we got to talk, man, because I got to show you my my dividend thing, man.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, man. Especially now that we're halfway through the year. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about. You know, about the midpoint of the year.
Tell me when you're gonna be ready, man. When you just give me a call. Just give me a time or place.
So late mornings are usually good for you.
Yeah,
usually like late mornings, 10, 10:30, 11, something like that is usually good for me.
You know, man, it's good for me because I'm up, man. Usually because the market opens at 9:30, so I'm usually up around a computer around then anyway. So
right, okay, that sounds good.
So if you want to wait till you get back home or what?
We might be able to. So tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be back. I'm planning on being back Saturday. So yeah, maybe Monday.
That's cool. Yeah, it was Sunday, man. I got a Zoom call on, right? Where one of my guys, a multi-millionaire, you know, he's a content creator. He goes through his eight ways of picking a stock.
Okay.
You know, so I think that's, you know, so I mean, if you want, if it's at 2:00, so I don't know what you're doing there. I can give you the link. I have it for my nieces, my daughters, and my niece. I don't use the word manage, but I monitor their portfolio. I got them set up. And so I want them to start to learn about stocks so they can know what to do on their own. So what I did was I opened it up. I don't know who's coming, but at least those three will be there. But I'll open it up to you. I don't mind because the guy's going to go through his list of things. And it's very informative.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. I could tell my son about it then, eh?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Right.
Yes, you can.
Son and daughter, I guess. But yeah.
Anybody, invite anybody. I'll give you the link. You can. It's at 2:00 Eastern time, you know.
Okay.
All right. All right, cool. Man.
Yeah, I'll look for it.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for stopping.
Yeah. Good talking to you. Ale.
Yep. All right, what's next? Baseball. Let me do this. Baseball, yeah, baseball. We don't have to go through the standings because baseball, right? Nobody's looking at baseball. Hockey, okay. The Panthers won. I didn't watch a lot of the games, but Edmondson made a valiant, valiant comeback from down 3-0 and then they lost to Florida. So Florida's a champion. They raised the Stanley Cup. Everybody's happy, blah, blah, blah. They're good for them. All right, so we're coming to the end of the show. Stephen A. Smith is turned down $18 million because he wants $25 million a year. So anybody out there listening, is he worth $25 million a year to ESPN? I don't know. Maybe he is, because they're paying Jim Buck and the other quarterback for Monday Night Football. They're making that kind of money, believe it or not. And Stephen A. Smith is like every day, his loud mouth is going on, first taking whatever else they want him to do. And he's like a plant and a shill for them and everything else. So he does all these things for ESPN. And so is $25 million too much for Stephen A. Smith? I don't know. Man, he said, man, some of those executives are blowing that away, especially out of stock options. They don't just get paid a paycheck. They get stock options and stuff like that. But you know what? Disney stock ain't that good no more. So I wouldn't be that excited about that. I might just want to check and pay the taxes, because as long as they're doing what they're doing to destroy Star Wars and things of that nature, their stock is plummeting. So I don't know how good stock options are with them. So anyway, if you like Stephen A. or don't like him, he draws a lot. He puts butts in the seats, so to speak. So what can you say? More power to the brother. More power to him. Condolences to Roy Jones Jr. He lost his son to suicide, which is unfortunate. I don't know what his mental illness was. I didn't dig that deep, but a lot of people, consider Roy Jones Jr. a very great guy in his personal life, as opposed to just being a great boxer. I haven't heard too many people say anything bad about Roy Jones. So, he's grieving over the loss of his son. I don't know what the circumstances are. I probably wouldn't go into those details anyway, but it's unfortunate, and nobody likes to see young people die. The guy was in his early 20s or something like that. So it's unfortunate. Whatever kind of demons were pressuring him, they got the best of him, and obviously he didn't get the help that he needed when he needed it. So rest in peace. All right, so Ryan Garcia, he gets suspended, and it took a long time by New York State Athletic Commission, suspended for a year for PED use. He loses all his money over this fight. All his money. They took the purse, it's this and that, and I'm not so sure how much he didn't spend. So he might actually owe them money that he already spent. And his whole career is just spiraling out of control. He's doing a lot of weird stuff. And he needs to get some help. Whatever help he needs to get some help, because he's a pretty good fighter, but for some reason or the other, he's troubled by something, and he's acting out, and it's really crazy, and you know what? He's too dangerous to be acting out like that. He hasn't really assaulted anybody outside the ring, but he's a dangerous dude, so hey, so I'm, concerned about him, because I like him as a fighter, man. And you know what? He's more articulate than people give him credit for. So I think, I don't know, it's not a game. It's something really bothering him, and it'd be nice if they can get to the bottom of it before he does something he can't come back from. Anyway, so here's the boxing schedule that I have up now. June 29th, Teofimo Lopez, who's a good fighter. He's a welterweight, so that should junior welterweight. That should be a good one. Daniel Jacobs against Shane Mosley Jr. I just threw that in there. I didn't know Shane Mosley's son was boxing. Maybe I did, but you know, he's not ranked. So I don't know how good he is. Shakur Stevenson, he's got a fight coming up. Now, I think he's overrated. At least the last time I seen him, I think he's a little overrated. So, you know, so I'm curious to see how he does. Jaron Ennis, now that boy is a bad dude. He is. So he's in the mix, you know, and at welterweight division, and it's starting to get crowded there. So these are coming up in July. So the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, I put canceled there because first of all, it's not happening in July. I think they're trying to move it back to December or something like that. But you know, I mean, we got to find out if Mike is going to get a clean bill of health, right? We don't know that, right? So that's the issue. That is Mike really going to be fit for boxing? And then who else? Oh, Clarissa Shields is going to fight on July. I think it's 27th and not the 29th. So she's going to fight, and I haven't seen her fight since. I always followed her since the Olympics. She's kind of heady. She talks a little bit too much, I think, but it'd be good to see her back in the ring. More power to her. Then Israel Madrafanov, whatever his name, against Terrence Crawford. He's going back in the ring in August. So everybody's going to expect him to win. And then Tyson Fury gets a rematch. Okay? So, disclaimer, I'm going to put the description of all the videos I use, and the link to all the videos I use in the description. So if you want to go see those full videos, you can. And, you know, I'm going to just tell people, if you haven't, go back and hit the like button, and for me, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you go to my community tab and take the poll I have there. I'd appreciate that. But, you know, so that's it. You know, so this is the 30th edition for the season 1 of On the Swivel at the Sports Bar. I appreciate anybody who was listening in, you know, and with that, I would just say good night. You know, until next time, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, I'm at it. You know, then I have different guests come up and participate or listening. So I appreciate anybody who's coming up. So next week we'll have something else for you. All right. Then I say good night.